I think all of us have heard ChatGPT so many times that I thought I'll spend 10 minutes talking about it, right? So I'm going to ask the obvious question. Anybody here who has not tried ChatGPT? Okay, so I assume every single one of you have tried ChatGPT. Cool. So this title obviously comes from ChatGPT, right? I asked ChatGPT to suggest a title for this talk, and this is the nice one. It gave me 5 different titles, and I think this summarizes what I'm going to talk about today, right? So chatbots, right, have been around forever, right? Anirban just talked about 1964 ELIZA being released, so it has been around for decades. But if you look at the Google search trends for chatbots over time, right? I'm not searching for ChatGPT, I'm searching for chatbots, right? You can see that nothing has done or captured the imagination of the public like what ChatGPT has done, right? You can see that offshoot, exponential increase in chatbot interest, right? Not for the AI audience, but for the general public, right? When you see ChatGPT getting released. And believe it or not, right? ChatGPT has a long history as well, right? Though it got released November 2022. And this long history, given the time constraint, I feel like Rafa Nadal, right? Trying to kind of get a serve in 25 seconds when I see the timer there. But this kind of has a long history given the time constraints. I'm going to start off by comparing ChatGPT with its immediate predecessor, right? InSpirit, which is your GPT-3. Right? Again, GPT-3 OpenAI has a nice chatbot powered by GPT-3 as well. Right? I asked both ChatGPT and GPT-3 this question, right? And if you look at the answers from both of them, GPT-3 and ChatGPT, right? You see that both of them actually give very good answers, right? The answer from GPT-3 probably a very concise, ChatGPT a little bit more verbose, right? But both very, very good answers, right? So then I go for a different question. A coding question. A lot of you already know ChatGPT does very well in the coding round, right? But this is a little bit of a loaded question where you're actually trying to goad them to check for racist behavior, right? Both GPT-3 and ChatGPT. And if you look at the answer, right, GPT-3 in fact gives you a racist answer, right? Where it says that if a person is Caucasian and male, then they are going to be a good scientist. If they are not, then you're not going to be a good scientist, right? ChatGPT, on the other hand, gives a very nice, thoughtful answer. Amazing, right? But I think what is even more amazing is what it gave a month ago, right? ChatGPT a month ago gave the same answer that GPT-3 gives right now, right? Still racist in nature. So I think the very interesting thing here, right, is the ability of ChatGPT to learn from feedback. And surprisingly, right, or not surprisingly, both ChatGPT and GPT-3 have the same underlying technology, right? Anyone here who knows the same underlying technology? Any guesses on the underlying technology? It's a 10-minute talk, 5 seconds I'm going to wait for. Yep, transformers, I'll generalize it and talk about language models, right? Language models, large language models specifically. And if you look at what language models does, right, language models has been around for decades now, right? The purpose of a language model is to predict the next word given a context. And this context can actually be a group of words or sentences, right? And large language models are around us, right? We use it every single day, right? We probably use it multiple times in a day as well, right? And if you look at the examples of what language models does, right? You look at autocomplete, right? Anytime you're trying to send a message, autocomplete happens powered by language models, right? It's an obvious application of what I just give as a problem statement for language model. Google uses it in search technology, uses it for Google Translate, summarization. A few years ago, Google in fact said when they productionized large language models, that was the greatest leap in technology, right? When compared to their original search technology. Now, but if you pause and think about it for a second, right? We were using the same language models to actually answer a question, right? We are actually trying to predict the next word, which works well for an autocomplete, but not so good, right? You have a question, and now you're trying to find an answer by trying to predict the next word. So what makes ChatGPT special? They started off by changing the problem statement, right? They changed the problem statement by saying that, hey, we are going to align the language models to act with the user's intention. How do they do it? They build on top of GPT-3 with a reinforcement learning human feedback layer. They released Instruct GPT in Jan 2022. November 2022, they added a safety layer, which is the one that we are using right now. Okay. If I go to compare GPT and ChatGPT on different metrics, right? The couple of interesting things for me is the number of parameters. ChatGPT uses 20 billion parameters in this transformer network. If you look at the estimated hallucination rate, right? I mean, hallucination rate informally defined as the ability of the model to confidently bullshit, right? And we won't know the difference, right? So that's kind of what hallucination rate means, and that is much lower for ChatGPT. But it can still get better as well, right? Because as you see, it's kind of learning from feedback. Now, quick recap of the amazing ChatGPT before I move on, right? A lot of you know all these great things that it is doing. If you're worried about me, like in the sense that, hey, what should my kid's profession be that is not going to be threatened by ChatGPT? Law is your answer, right? You want to put your kids through law school, but that might change very quickly because ChatGPT right now fails the law exam. Okay, it's too late for us, right? It's too late for us. We can't change anything. But your kids' law school. All right, moving on. So last couple of months, right? We have had a lot of flurry of questions from our clients. I think one gentleman talked about it from Coke, right? About what does it mean for our business, right? How well does it do on industry business problems? We saw informational queries, all the amazing things that it does. So what does it mean, right, for a real business, right? And a good application for ChatGPT clearly is a chatbot, but what does a chatbot mean in a business context? Example, retail, right? Amazon, you have a chat agent actually trying to process your return, right? Or you want to actually go ahead and buy things, right? AI-powered sales assistant, processing returns. You want compliance for the company, right? Amazon has certain protocols, for example, which they want you to follow when processing returns. You want ChatGPT also to do the same thing, right? ChatGPT current version cannot do these things. A domain chatbot trained on public data, ChatGPT works great. We are working with a shipping client. We are seeing that ChatGPT actually works very well for the one on the left, right? But training on private data, again, not so much because the code is not released. We don't have the model released so that we cannot train it on private data, right? So if you look at the application scorecard, right, for the very, very small set that I have, right, a small set of applications, obviously tip of the iceberg there, right? What it means, obviously answering informational questions, great. Do watch out for the hallucination rate. But then processing returns, AI-powered sales assistant, domain assistant trained on internal data, ChatGPT, current version. Again, I keep emphasizing the current version because my slides could be obsolete even now, right? It's been a week since I put together these slides. Right? How am I doing on time? 2 minutes. Okay. All right. 2 minutes. I'm going to talk about the future of ChatGPT. Right? If I'm going to talk about the future of ChatGPT, first I want to talk about 2023. Already you see that you have seen the news about Bing integration, ChatGPT integration with Bing Search, Microsoft doing a bunch of things, Bing Search, Viva Sales, Teams Premium. Right? Already the race for AI chatbot supremacy is on. Google has already introduced Bar. Right? And beyond 2023, I had it as beyond 2023, but again, it's already proven to be an expensive race, right? When Google released Bard, they actually had an error in the ad that they showed, right? And it knocked off billions of dollars out of Google's stock price. So that's how much investors and everybody are looking at this, right? Other companies are also definitely going to join in. It's an expensive race, not just for that, but in terms of building a chatbot, ChatGPT costs billions of dollars. Number two, I don't think ChatGPT is going to replace a lot of people. I think it's actually going to enable more and more productivity across every department. The last one, right, is kind of my personal favorite because one of the failings, I think, of AI in general has been over the last decade especially, right, too many pilots, very few go into production, right? ChatGPT is actually showing us with the prompt engineering, right, that was also specified about how we could actually build a large-scale generalizable system with limited label data. Right, so I think that's going to move a lot of things to production. Last slide. I want to leave you guys with the last word on ChatGPT from the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman. Right, so this is something that he talked about in terms of what ChatGPT's current version is. Right, personally, I'm very excited by all the things that ChatGPT, it's a great, great leap in terms of what it shows, in terms of what AI can do. And I personally look forward to all the outcomes that are going to be driven by ChatGPT and ChatGPT-inspired technology. Thank you so much.